if your local vets, the one you see for your dog or cat's checkup, had the combined brain power of the world's top specialists right at their fingertips? Well, today, we're diving into a system called Belfix 65 that's making that a reality. And trust me, it's a total game changer for animal healthcare. But first, let's think about this for a second. Our diagnostic tools are getting ridiculously powerful, right? But what good is some super advanced scanner if the person who actually knows how to interpret its results is 100 miles away and costs a fortune to consult? And that right there, that's the huge gap that's opening up in modern medicine. This is what's being called the expertise paradox. You know, a vet in a small town might be looking at a dog with a really complex neurological issue, the exact same kind of case a top specialist at a university hospital would see. But the specialist, they've got a whole team and state-of-the-art labs. The rural vet has themselves. And that's exactly the gap Belfix 65 was built to fill. Now, this isn't just some abstract theoretical problem. This expertise gap has a real human cost for veterinarians who are out there on the front lines every single day. Let's dig into some of their stories. Okay, so imagine you're a brand new vet, fresh out of school. Just yesterday, you had a professor looking over your shoulder, double-checking every single decision you made. Today, an animal's life is literally in your hands, and you are all alone. That safety net is just gone. The fear of making a huge mistake isn't just about your career. It's about the animal you're desperately trying to save. It's no wonder so many young vets burn out so fast. And then you have the rural vets. For them, the biggest challenge is pure isolation. They're basically practicing in a professional desert. The nearest specialist might be a 3-hour drive away. There's no one down the hall to bounce a weird idea off of, nobody to confirm a really tricky diagnosis. You're just forced to handle cases that are way, way outside your comfort zone, simply because there's no other choice. So, how in the world do you bridge that massive gap between isolation and expertise? Well, this is where BLFI 65 steps in, and it offers something pretty incredible, what it calls a 60-second second opinion. 60 seconds, that's it. That's the key here. If you're in a busy clinic, you don't have 20 or 30 minutes to wait for a specialist to maybe call you back. You need insights now in a way that actually fits into the flow of an appointment. That incredible speed is what makes Belfix 65 a truly practical tool, not just a cool idea. So let's see how this actually works. Say a vet has a 12-year-old cat that just won't stop vomiting. They punch in the data, and in less than a minute, boom, they get 3 different specialist opinions. The internist is thinking it could be IBD or even lymphoma. The radiologist chimes in suggesting an ultrasound because they know X-rays can easily miss something like lymphoma. Then the pathologist looks at the blood work and says, yeah, the kidneys are a bit off, but I really think the main problem is the GI issue. It's not just one answer. It's like having a full-on specialist consultation, instantly. Okay, but let's be real. Whenever we talk about technology this powerful, there's always a big question in the room. Is the goal here to replace the vet? Well, the people behind Belfix 65 say absolutely not. Their entire philosophy is built around one core idea: amplification, not replacement. And this is such a critical distinction. A replacement AI, well, that's the stuff of sci-fi nightmares, right? It would just bark orders and turn the vet into a technician. But an amplification AI, which is what Belfix 65 is, just provides input. It basically says, hey, here's how 3 different world-class specialists might think about this case. Now you, the doctor in the room, you make the final call. It's a powerful tool, not a boss. And this matters so much. It keeps the final critical decision with the one person who actually knows the patient and the client, the vet. The AI can't know about a family's financial situation or the pet's quality of life. The vet can. And by showing the vet how specialists think, it stops being just a diagnostic tool and becomes an incredible continuous learning tool. So this whole idea of amplify, don't replace isn't just a nice little slogan. It's actually the engine that's tearing down the old walls that have kept specialist knowledge locked away from most people for far too long. First, let's talk money. A single consultation with a specialist can run you hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. BLFI 65, it's $15. 15. That is a jaw-dropping difference. It means getting a world-class second opinion is no longer a last resort for the most desperate cases. It can become a routine part of a really thorough workup. Then you've got the language barrier. Most of the cutting-edge veterinary research is published in English. That's a huge problem. But with support for over 100 languages, a vet in a small village in Thailand can now access the exact same level of expertise as a vet in New York City, all in their own native language. This is about leveling the playing field for animal care across the entire globe. So what do you get when you put it all together? You've got instant access, a super low price, and basically no language barriers. What it adds up to is this: the old geographic, economic, and linguistic walls that kept specialist knowledge in the hands of a select few, they're being dismantled. All of this together leads to something the source material calls a new covenant of care, a brand new promise about how technology, veterinarians, and patients can all work together in a better way. And this is the heart of it all. This right here is the covenant. AI assists. Veterinarians decide. The technology is there to help, to give data, to offer different perspectives, and to amplify the knowledge that's already there. But that final decision, the one that carries all the medical and ethical weight, it stays exactly where it belongs, with the veterinarian. So we've seen how this is completely changing the game for vets, but it makes you wonder, right? What about your own life? What if your mechanic, your financial advisor, your kid's teacher, what if they all had this kind of amplified intelligence at their disposal? If we can democratize expertise in one field, what's really stopping us from doing it in all of them? Now that's a future worth thinking about.